So hello, my name is Caleb and today we're going to be doing another book haul. I feel like in most of my book hauls at the beginning I'm like, oh, I'm such a mess, I buy too many books, haha, I need to be stopped, this is way too much. But I haven't made a book haul in like 50 years. It's legitimately been 4 to 5 months since my last book haul. And you might be thinking, wow, he has self-control, he's no longer making a million book hauls. I have 21 books to talk about today, like 21! I do have excuses, like some of these books were sent to me from different people, some of these are arcs that I was sent, so it's not as bad as it seems, but it's still pretty bad. So we're gonna be talking about all the books that I've received since my last book haul, which was in like May. There are quite a lot of books, lots of new releases, lots of arcs, lots of fun stuff that I'm excited to talk about. Also, I'm a little bit sick and I have a pretty bad cough, so if I sound like I'm dying, please send help. I'm pretty sure I've worn this shirt in a book haul before, it's fine. So let's begin. The first book that I have to talk about is a book that I've owned for 50 million years, like legitimately I've had this book before summer even started, and that is Strange the Dreamer by Laini Taylor. Wait, that's her name, right? Oh yeah, it's Laini Taylor. Ooh. I've heard fantastic things about Laini Taylor's writing. I've heard it's very rich and very dark. I'm very excited to pick this one up. I don't know anything about this book.
On the second Sabbath of 12th moon in the city of Weep, a girl fell from the sky. Her skin was blue, her blood was red.
I only understood like one of those things. From what I've heard, the writing is spectacular and the cover is shiny, so I'm sold. When I got this, I was literally just like, I wasn't originally gonna buy this because I'm not a huge fan of super high fantasy things. It felt like it was gonna be a big struggle to get into it. And then I just walked in Barnes & Noble and I was like, it's shiny! And so I immediately picked it up and I was this close to walking up and checking out this book. But then I had a little bit of self-control and I was like, okay, let's see how much it is on Amazon, and it was half the price. So I was a little bit smart, but I had to wait 2 days, but it's fine because I have it now. And it's so shiny and so beautiful and I can't wait to get to it hopefully soon. The next book that I have to talk about is A Court of Wings and Ruin by Sarah J. Maas. I'm pretty sure we all know how I feel about this book, and if you don't know how I feel, watch my latest wrap-up. I go into all my feelings and thoughts, and if you want even more feelings and thoughts, I have a 45-minute video discussing. This is the third book in the A Court of Thorns and Roses series by Sarah J. Maas. It's one of my favorites ever, though I do have some problems with the last book. It is one of my favorite series. Akamath was a gift. I gave this book a 4 stars. Wasn't my favorite in the series, but it's still pretty, and I still love the characters in the world, and Amaranth is my boo, so I love it. I do recommend this series if you love fantasy books. That's all I have to say because no spoilers! So the next 4 books I have to talk about, they're all arcs that I was sent from Fierce Reads. Thank you so much, Fierce Reads. God bless your soul. The first one is Alexander Hamilton Revolutionary by Martin Brockenbrough. Sorry, I never know how to say it. I'm so sorry. If you want to know all my thoughts about this book, watch my latest wrap-up. I gave this a 4 stars. This is a biography about Hamilton's life. There's lots of pictures, lots of illustrations. It's very quick to get through. It's very informational. I do recommend if you're a fan of Hamilton or the Revolutionary War or anything like that. Yeah, boy. The next book that Fierce Reads sent to me was a book that I didn't know existed, but when I read the synopsis, I was pretty hooked. I've heard some good things. I've seen a few reviews. You Bring the Distant Near by Mitali Perkins. I haven't heard a lot about this book. I read the back and I'm basically getting a vibe of like, there is a family that immigrated to the United States or something, and basically this story is a generational tale of what goes on because of the original move. I know it's gonna be really, really deep and it's gonna share a lot of struggles, so I need to be in a specific mood to read this book, but I am very excited to read this. This comes out in September, so just about a month before it's released. The next book that Fierce Reads sent to me was called Finding You by Lydia Albano. It comes out in September. I've never seen this book, but I just like read the back. This girl gets kidnapped. She's just chilling. She's in this person's basement or something, and then there's like a bunch of other girls there, and then slowly throughout the days, all these other girls are just disappearing. And so the main character is like, oh frick, I'm about to disappear or get killed or something. So she's trying to escape. I went through this ridiculous stage where I watched like 50 different documentaries about people that got kidnapped, so I think this is gonna be something I'm gonna enjoy. The cover is really weird. It's like an amulet with blood on it. Again, this comes out in September. The final arc that I was sent from Fierce Reads is called The 57 Bus by Dashka Slater. What I'm getting from the back synopsis is that this is like a true story. It sounds sounds very, very deep and emotional. Like, I think there's like some sort of accident or something that happens on this bus ride. I don't know what happens, it doesn't say, but something goes down. There are two people, one of them is left severely injured and the other one is blamed for whatever happened. Basically the two sides of the same crime. It sounds very interesting, really deep. I don't know when I'm gonna get to it. Hopefully I can. And this comes out in October. The next 3 books I have to talk about are all Cassandra Clare books, because what is a book haul without a Cassandra Clare book? The first one is the Lady Midnight exclusive Waterstones edition. I love it so much. Look, it's so shiny and pretty and like there's runes on it. I remember when Lady Midnight first came out, everybody was posting these pictures and I didn't know this existed, and by the time I went on the website, they were all sold out and I was devastated because I was like, no. So I looked on Book Depository and they had it and I was like, okay, sometimes they have things on their website that they don't actually have, so I was really, really skeptical buying it, and I bought it and they had it and they sent it to me and it's so gorgeous. I also got the Lord of Shadows special edition and normal Lord of Shadows by Cassandra Clare. This book was a revolutionary, 10 out of 10. This is the second book in the Dark Artifices. You know the deal. Please read this series. It's so good and emotional. I don't even know what to say anymore, but it's so good. Please read it. And this is the exclusive edition, the same Waterstones edition. It's so pretty and blue and it has the Parabatai rune. There's this short story in the back and it was like 2 pages long, but like I was still feeling some feelings when I read that. Ooh, let me just tell you. Boy, we is flying through this book haul. We are already almost halfway done. Wow, look at me. I went to Target and they had these 2 and they were new releases and I bought them both because I have no self-control. The first one is Forever and Always, or no, just kidding. It's Always and Forever, and every single time I say it wrong and nobody ever corrects me, and then I'll look at the title and I'll be like, wait, oh no. Always and Forever, Lara Jean. I'm pretty sure it's Forever and Always. Like, that's what people say, right? Forever and Always, not Always and Forever. Is it trademarked? Is that why you had to switch it? I don't know. I've already read this book. I talked about it in my latest wrap-up. I gave it like a 1 or 2 stars. It wasn't my favorite. I just really can't get into it. If you like the first 2 books, I do recommend this. I think you would love it, but I think I've just grown more as a reader, and I'm not into this sort of thing anymore, so that's why I had a lot of issues with it. The next book I have is another book that I got in the same trip to Target. I actually was gonna pick one of them, but then I was like, I can't do that. We're just gonna grab both. The Upside of Unrequited by Becky Albertalli. This has gotten so much praise, and I think it's going to be such a fantastic book. I loved Simon versus the Homo Sapiens Agenda. Becky Albertalli writes such funny and real books that deal with very serious things, and I'm really excited to see what this one's all about. I know it's some people's favorite book of the year, and I'm really excited to tackle this one, and I realized I don't know a lot about it. I know it follows a girl, and she's just living life, and like her sister has like a boyfriend or something. I didn't know a lot about Simon vs. the Homo Sapiens Agenda, and I was very, very happily surprised by that book. The next 5 books I have to talk about were all sent to me from Penguin Teen. The One Memory of Flora Banks by Emily Barr. This book was going all around town a few months ago, and it sounded very interesting. Like, I was intrigued the first time I even heard about this book. The cover is really shiny too, and I'm a big fan of that. Have I ever looked at you naked? I don't think I have. Ooh, very like gray. So this book follows a girl named Flora, and her mind basically resets every single day. She lives one day, and then the next day she just doesn't remember anything. And so I believe she goes to a party or something, or meets this guy, and then they kiss, and then she starts remembering things again. And so she's like, wait, what? I normally forget everything. Why am I remembering this? It's reminding me of Finding Dory. I don't know why. I love Nemo and I love Pixar, so hopefully I get the same vibe. It's not a lie if you can't remember the truth. I'm gonna purposely forget everything just so I can say that. Ooh! The next book I have to talk about is one I'm really excited for. This came out in May. Never like looked at the cover until right now, and wow, that's pretty. A Flame in the Mist by, I almost said Victoria Aveyard, what? By Renee Ahdieh. This book sounds so interesting to me. I know it has some Mulan aspects to it, of a girl dressing up as a guy and going to the war, but I know that that's not all. I know there are other like folk stories tied in that I'm not familiar with, but I think it's gonna be really interesting. Renee Ahdieh writes fantastic books. I loved The Wrath and the Dawn. Okay, the next book I have to talk about, I feel like some people are gonna be like, this is the dumbest thing. Why would you ask Penguin for this book if it's the second book? You haven't even read the first one. That's Midnight Jewel by Rochelle Mead. Rochelle Mead and I sure do have a relationship because I buy all of her books, but legitimately have not read a single one because I have no self-control. I remember when this series was first announced, Rochelle Mead was like, hey, guess what? I'm writing 3 books and they're all the exact same story, the exact same timeline, except the characters all tell a different story. So there are like different mysteries and things that go around. So you can read them in any order you want to and the story will still be the same, except there's gonna be a different narrator telling it. And when you read all 3, all the different pieces are gonna tie in. And I remember when I heard heard that, I was like, that sounds so cool. That sounds so interesting. It's a really unique way to tell a story, and I'm really excited to see where it goes. Yeah, boy. The next book I have is another book that Penguin sent me. Thanks, Penguin, you rock. And that is Once and For All by Sarah Dessen. I have a confession to make. Some of you might not be able to believe this, but I've never read a Sarah Dessen book before. Everybody loves her. Everybody says that like she's their middle school hero and that they all loved her. I've never read a I almost said Sarah J. Maas. Oh no, what have I done? I don't know what it's about. I know it's like a girl that does wedding stuff. Lately, I've had this weird thing where every contemporary book I read, I'm like, this is so cheesy and really cringy and really, really immature. So I'm terrified to go into this, but I've heard great things about Sarah Dessen. Hopefully I enjoy this. She meets this guy at a wedding, I think. They hit it off and they fall in love and then they get married. Just kidding. I don't know if that's true, but I think that'd be a cool ending. The next book I have to talk about is another book that Penguin sent me, and it was one that I didn't plan on getting originally, but once they were like, hey, you want this? I was like, of course, please send it to me. I'm so excited. Alex and Eliza by Melissa De La Cruz. I've said this, but I think that Hamilton is something I'm not a huge fan of anymore. It kind of ran its course. I don't hate it, but like it's not very exciting to me anymore. I know all the things. I'm just kind of chill. I'm just chill, okay? And so when this was announced, I was really excited for it, and then I did feel like it was a little bit rushed though, and I was kind of nervous that it wasn't going to be very historically accurate. Just going to be taking the characters and the idea and just shaping it into something it wasn't. And I'm big on like actual historical things. I feel like I would be very annoyed or like maybe get some wrong ideas on actual history. It's gonna be a second one, and I don't know what that's gonna be like because I don't know where this ends or what this book's even about besides that it's a novel about Alex and Eliza. I remember seeing this in the store when it was released and just opening up to a random page and they were like, hey Peggy, and I was like, oh no, that seems like a cringe fest. It seems really fun. I've heard great things. Thank you so much, Penguin, for sending this to me. The cover's really pretty too. Like, hey dog, look at that. We're getting to the end, and I'm really excited because these are all really fun books that I'm really excited to talk about. Okay, let's go. The first one is one that I didn't know existed until like 2 weeks ago. I watched a video and someone like mentioned the audiobook, and I was like, I don't like audiobooks, so I'll just get the real thing. And that is Gentleman's Guide to Vice and Virtue by Mackenzie Lee. I didn't know this existed, and then I watched one video and somebody talked about it. Then I watched like 10 other videos and everybody else was talking about it, so I was like, oh, hit me up! And I am so lit for this book. Apparently it is hilarious. It's a historical contemporary book. This guy and his best friend are going on this trip all around Europe. He's like a very rich person. He's very used to being like classy and fancy and all that good stuff. Like starts falling in love with his best friend and they're like BFF. So he's like, oh no, what you gonna do? Oh no, I like you, but oh no, I don't know if I can tell you. It sounds so cute and so funny, and I'm very lit for it. I've heard the audiobook is fantastic, so maybe I'll check that out because I have been getting into audiobooks recently. She is so thick though, I'm a little bit nervous. The next book I have is a book that came out last year. It has some great representation in it, and I'm really excited to see that for myself. And that is Every Heart Adore by Shannon McGuire, or Shannon, or Shannon, or something like that, McGuire. It's about kids that travel to another world. So we're talking like people like Alice from Alice in Wonderland, or the kids from Narnia, like that kind of experience of going to a fantastical world like that. So I think it's like bringing all those people together. They come to like some sort of school or something like that. It sounds really interesting. It's so short. I plan on doing some 24-hour readathons pretty soon in the next week or two. It's gonna be a lot of fun, so if you are able to do it or you are interested in doing it, let me know in the comments, and if I see a lot of people that are interested, I will make sure to be planning something and I will keep you updated. Follow me on Twitter for more updates. Self-promo. The next book is a sequel to a book that I read pretty recently, and I loved the first book so much, and I can't wait for the second book. I'm so lit for it, and that is Our Dark Duet by Victoria Schwab. Ooh! I loved the first book. I flew through it, and by flew through it, I mean I read it over the course of like a month or two, but I flew through it when I was actually reading it. Like I read the last half in like a day, dog, which is very unlike me because your boys read how many books this year? 12? I only gave it like a 4 stars, but it was still really enjoyable and really fun, and I can't wait for this one. I've heard this one is so action-packed. I think I know what's going down in this book, and I am lit for it. I love the characters, and I love the story, and August is too good for this world. Kill me with your violin, please. Oh my goodness. And I remember Victoria Schwab said something. It was like Romeo and Juliet, but without the romance. Because they're on different sides, and they shouldn't be together, and they shouldn't be friends, but they form this really cute friendship, and it's so good. It's so good. Let's move on. The next book is a book that I bought when I was on vacation, and it was really dumb, because I had already brought 3 books with me on vacation, and I hadn't even read those yet, but I went to the store, and I was like, I need this. And that is When Dimple Met Rishi by Sandhya Menon. I've heard this is so quick to get through. I've heard it's very, very cute and fast and fluffy. fluffy. Cheese. That was so uncomfortable. I'm so sorry. The girl in this book, her parents are putting her through this arranged marriage. They're very, very traditional parents, and she is not having it. She's like, I'm not interested. I don't like this arranged marriage type of deal. No, thank you. And then the guy, he is lit for this. He's like all about tradition. He's like, this is gonna be my wife. She's gonna be my boo. We're gonna get married. The back summarizes that very well. We have one more book, and I'm so excited that we're finally done because I am dying in the throat and dying in the sweat department. That is The Iron Trial by Cassandra, Clare, and Holly Black. It's taken me like 3 or 4 years to finally hop on this train, but I am on the train. Actually, I'm not on the train yet, but I'm like trying to board the train at some point in the next 3 years. Cassandra Clare is my hero. I don't know Holly Black. I haven't read any of her books. I'm such a fake fan. I'm so sorry, Holly. Holly Black could have written all the words in this book, and Cassandra Clare could have written the end, and I would still be lit for it because Cassandra Clare put words in this, and I want it. There's something called the Magisterium, and the main character doesn't want to be like a magical person, so they take this test, but then he is a magical person. I've heard it's very similar to Harry Potter just because of the magic school vibe, but besides that, I've heard it's completely different. This is also another book I plan to read if I do a 24-hour readathon. Let me know if you're interested. This series is going to be coming to a close next year, so I want to get on this train before it's done. I got this book in the mail like 2 days ago, and I just like opened it up to the first page. What? Is this real? I think it's real because on this page it bleeds through. It's so real. Did Cassandra Clare touch this? If you've read this, please let me know how you feel. Very excited to get to it. Look at this. Look what I have to pick up. You better be so grateful for that funny thumbnail and that funny 5 minutes where I'm holding the books. You better be so grateful. Okay, time for everybody's favorite part. We're gonna hope that I don't break my back or die because, you know, it's happened before. We're gonna put Lord of Shadows on the bottom because your boy is not about to have that book be damaged. Amen, hallelujah. Okay, what a day it is. Yeah, boy, stacking the books for a thumbnail. Probably gonna break my spine somewhere in the middle of this. Oh, shoot. I can't believe this. Oh no, the camera's too high up. You can't even see the books. Everything is so fine. God be with me, please. Hi, I'm fine. Shoot. Oh, shoot. Oh, shoot. So these are like a quarter of the books that I have to talk about today in this haul. All the other ones are on the floor. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this book haul. Let me know what books you've acquired this month. I'd love to hear what you guys have to say. Thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you in my next video. Goodbye!